Hi everyone, I'm Linda Reimer, one of the librarians at the Southeast Steuben County Library. Welcome to Library Connections, our weekly readers, viewers, and listeners advisory video cast. Enjoy. Library Connections number 71. This is the Friday, September 24th, 2021 edition of Library Connections. Library Connections videos premiere on Facebook Fridays at 1 p.m. and may also be found on the Southeast Steuben County Library's YouTube channel. Jumping right in with the top 5 fiction bestsellers for this week from the New York Times. At number 1, Apples Never Fall by Lane Moriarty. The Delaney siblings suspect their father of causing the disappearance of their mother. At number 2, Vince Flynn, Enemy at the Gates by Kyle Mills. Anthony Cook, an autocratic president, distrusts Mitch Rapp, who is working to uncover a traitor. At number 3, Harlem Shuffle by Colson Whitehead. Ray Carney, a family man who sells furniture on 125th Street, gets a new clientele made up of vicious and unsavory characters. At number 4, Beautiful World, Where Are You? By Sally Rooney. A novelist, a warehouse worker, an editorial assistant, and a political advisor deal with changes. And at number 5, It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. A battered wife, raised in a violent home, attempts to halt the cycle of abuse. Moving on to the top 5 nonfiction bestsellers for this week. At number 1, American Marxism by Mark R. Levin. The Fox News host gives his take on the Green New Deal, critical race theory, and social activism. At number 2, Countdown Bin Laden by Chris Wallace with Mitch Weiss. The intelligence gathering, security strategizing, and military planning during the final 8 months of the pursuit of Osama bin Laden. At number 3, A Hunter-Gatherer's Guide to the 21st Century by Heather Haying and Brett Weinstein. The evolutionary biologists posit that the modern world is out of sync with our ancient brains and bodies. At number 4, Fuzz by Mary Roach. An exploration of disciplinary actions and preventative measures occurring at the intersection of human behavior and wildlife biology. And at number 5, The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk. How trauma affects the body and mind, and innovative treatments for recovery. Our first recommended read of the week is the new novel All the Lonely People by Mike Gale. Romantic Novelists Association Award winner Gale, wow, try saying that 10 times fast, but I digress. Award winner Gale delights with this novel starring 82-year-old Hubert Bird. Hubert is a Jamaican immigrant who has called Great Britain home for almost 60 years. After the death of his wife, Joyce, and the relocation of his daughter, Rose, Hubert keeps to himself. To save Rose worry, he has created a fictional social life. But when she schedules a visit, Hubert decides he must rustle up actual friends. which means taking risks like babysitting for his new neighbor, Ashley. So begins Hubert's journey, which includes him and Ashley starting a campaign to end loneliness. Interspersed are flashbacks that reveal the racism Hubert faced upon arriving in England, his meeting Joyce, and their hardships as an interracial couple, and allusions to a son no longer in the picture. With a winning main character, this absolutely heartwarming story unfolds with just enough surprises and heft to keep readers engaged. A natural choice for fans of Helen Simonson's Major Pettigrew's Last Stand, or any of the myriad recent books about cranky men finding late-in-life joy. Our second recommended read of the week is called The Second Season. It's a novel by Emily Adrian. This spare, bold latest from Adrian follows a sports writer as she reckons with middle age. Always a challenge. Ruth Devon, age 42, covers NBA games and longs for a television analyst position, ironically now held by her ex-husband Lester, who is just about to retire. Meanwhile, Ruth and Lester's daughter Ariana is a high school senior aspiring to be a model, and Ruth has a boyfriend, Joel, who is 6 years her junior. And then Ruth learns she is unexpectedly pregnant. As she struggles with this information, deciding whether to tell Joel or not, and weighing her career ambition as well as her devotion to her daughter, Ariana cleverly structures the novel around Ruth's experiences during the NBA Finals. I can just imagine going through all that as you try to cover the NBA Finals, but again, I'm digressing. Getting back to Ruth, she's going through all this stuff and she's covering the NBA Finals and covering a conflict between two best friends who play for the opposing teams. As the game unfolds in sharp detail, with attention paid to the action on the court and on the sidelines, Adrian raises the stakes on Ruth's attempt to keep a handle on things. Even the sports averse will be caught up in the drama. That's the Publishers Weekly review, and this one's definitely going on my reading list, even though, as Publishers Weekly has it to a T, I am indeed sports averse. But this is a great read, I think. It's getting really good reviews. Our first audiobook recommendation of the week is the new Christopher Swan novel. It's called A Fire in the Night. The audio is read by Axe Norman. Nick Anthony has retreated to the North Carolina mountains to mourn the untimely death of his wife. Once a popular professor, Nick just wants to be left alone with his grief. But when his estranged brother and sister-in-law die in a house fire, a stunned Nick learns he has a niece, Annalise, who is missing. At the scene of the crime, the men who set the fire have realized Annalise and the information they are looking for got away. Feverish and exhausted, Annalise stumbles onto her uncle's porch, throwing Nick into the middle of the mystery of her parents' death and the dangerous criminals hunting her down. Hired to retrieve the stolen information at any price, private military contractor Cole and his team track Annalise to Nick's cabin. But Nick has a hidden past of his own and more than a few deadly tricks up his sleeve. So if you're looking for an action and adventure audio, check this one out. Our second audiobook recommendation for this week is also a suspenseful tale. It's the new book Trace of Doubt, written by Deanne Mills. The audio is narrated by Tara Langella. Best-selling and award-winning author Deanne Mills delivers a heart-stopping story of dark secrets, desperate enemies, and dangerous lies. 15 years ago, Shelby Pierce confessed to murdering her brother-in-law and was sent to prison. Now she's out on parole and looking for a fresh start in the small town of Valleysburg, Texas. But starting over won't be easy for an ex-con. FBI Special Agent Denton McClure was a rookie fresh out of Quantico when he was first assigned the Pierce case. He's always believed Shelby embezzled $500,000 from her brother-in-law's account. So he's going undercover to befriend Shelby, track down the missing money, and finally crack this case. But as Denton gets closer to Shelby, he begins to have a trace of doubt about her guilt. Someone has Shelby in their crosshairs, and it's up to Denton to stop them before they silence Shelby and the truth forever. Our first streaming recommendation for this week is the 2017 film Agatha Christie's Crooked House, directed by Giles Paquette Brenner and starring Max Irons and Stephanie Martini. When a detective investigates the death of his ex-lover's grandfather, he uncovers secrets about the tycoon's manipulative family. In post-World War II England, private detective Charles Hayward is hired by his former lover Sophia to solve the murder of her wealthy grandfather. But when he heads to the deceased's mansion to investigate the case, he realizes that everyone is a suspect, including Sophia herself. Based on the novel by Agatha Christie, of course, Glenn Close, Christina Hendricks, Gillian Anderson, and Terrence Stamp co-star. Moving on to our second streaming recommendation for this week, it's the final cut of the film Blade Runner. Directed by Ridley Scott and starring Harrison Ford, Brian James, Sean Young, Rutger Hauer, and Edward James Olmos. This restored cut of the sci-fi classic includes never-before-seen footage. Ridley Scott's celebrated sci-fi classic stars Harrison Ford as retired 21st century detective Rick Deckard, who is forced back into active duty in order to hunt a fugitive band of human-like androids known as replicants through the rain-soaked streets of Los Angeles. How appropriate, since the rain-soaked streets of the Southern Tier are equally rain-soaked recently. And there again, try saying that 10 times fast. Rain-soaked streets of the Southern Tier. Well, I digress. Getting back to the movie, after Detective Rick Deckard meets with the eccentric Eldon Tyrell, creator of the replicants, he finds and eliminates replicant Zora before coming under attack by the powerful bad guy Leon. Deckard is just about to be killed by Leon when he's saved by Rachel, Tyrell's assistant, and a replicant who's unaware of her true nature. In the meantime, replicant leader Roy Beatty and his pleasure model lover Pris use a dying inventor, J.F. Sebastian, to get close to Tyrell and murder him. Deckard tracks the pair to Sebastian's place, where a bloody and violent final confrontation between Deckard and Beatty takes place on a skyscraper rooftop high above the city. This digitally remastered version of the film features extended scenes and improved visual effects approved by the director in order to better reflect his original vision. And that's the All Movie Review. Our third recommended stream of the week is the 1993 classic Sleepless in Seattle, directed by Nora Ephron and starring Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan star in Nora Ephron's rom-com Sleepless in Seattle as Sam, a recently widowed architect, and Annie, a reporter who falls in love with him after hearing him speak about how much he misses his wife on a call-in radio show. After receiving hundreds of letters from women who listened in, only Annie's manages to impress Sam's young son Jonah, and a series of poignant encounters and somber misconnections works to bring the two together. With hilarious dialogue and heartwarming chemistry between Hanks and Ryan, Sleepless in Seattle is an enduring classic of the genre. And that is the Polygon Review. And I suggest actually a triple feature movie night. If you like Sleepless in Seattle, which is a great rom-com film, pair that with the 1998 film You've Got Mail, also starring Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, and the classic film An Affair to Remember with Cary Grant and Deborah Kerr. And I mention that latter one because that film has a series of scenes where the two main characters have a hard time getting together. There just seems to be something working against them, and it's not got quite the humor of Sleepless in Seattle, but it's a great film, An Affair to Remember, and I think it falls in the rom-com genre, so check it out. And finally, our hoopla recommendation for this week is the new mystery Striking Range, written by Margaret Mizushima and read by Nancy Wu. This is the 7th book in the Timber Creek Canine Mystery series, and it's available as an audiobook and ebook, both for instant checkout through Hoopla. So let me tell you a little bit about it. In Mitsushima's entertaining 7th Timber Creek Canine Mystery, Deputy Mattie Cobb is at last on the verge of interviewing John Cobb, the chief suspect in her father's murder 30 years earlier. Cobb is serving time in the Colorado State Prison for a recent attempt to kill her and other crimes. But before she can interview him, Cobb, who also abducted Mattie at age 2 and gave her his last name, is found dead in his cell. A book of Timber Creek County hiking trails found in the cell has handwritten X's along one trail. Curious about their significance, Mattie decides to visit the spots indicated. The discovery of a body of a teenager who just gave birth interrupts Mattie's quest, and she surmises that the killer may have taken the victim's newborn baby. Her investigations lead her and her valiant German Shepherd partner Robo into the snowy wilderness and a thrilling face-off with a devious killer. Jolly visits to the office of Mattie's veterinarian boyfriend Cole Walker provide relief from the grim detective work. Series fans will hope Mattie returns soon. So if you're in the mood for a cool new mystery with a female protagonist, check out Striking Range. Have questions about this weekly videocast? Let me know. Send an email to me at reimerl@stls.org and I'll get back to you. And a note on library hours. The library is open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. We're open on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. and we're closed on Sundays. The library's website is found at ssclibrary.org, and you can find a whole host of information on our website about upcoming events. You can access our catalogs, schedule a curbside appointment, and much more. Again, that's ssclibrary.org. STARCAT and its companion app BookMine. STARCAT is the catalog of physical library materials available to all cardholders of the public libraries in the Southern Tier Library System. STLS encompasses the public libraries in Steuben, Chemung, Yates, Schuyler, and Allegheny counties. STARCAT is found online at starcat.stls.org. And the companion app BookMine, which is BookMyne, is available in your App Store. If you'd rather access the catalog through the app, download it from your App Store. The digital catalog and its companion app Libby. The digital catalog is available online at stls.overdrive.com. The digital catalog features eBooks, downloadable audiobooks, and a handful of streaming videos. And if you would rather access the digital catalog and its content through an app, the app is called Libby, Libby. You can download it from your App Store and access the same catalog of items through the app. Hoopla, and of course its companion app, also called Hoopla. The Hoopla catalog features ebooks, comic books, full-length albums, downloadable audiobooks, and streaming videos, including both TV shows and movies. All Hoopla items are available for instant checkout for Southeast Steuben County Library cardholders, with a maximum of 6 checkouts per month. The Hoopla catalog is available online at hoopladigital.com, or you can download the app to your mobile device or smart TV. Communicating with the library. An important thing. If you have questions about library materials or services, you are welcome to go the traditional route and simply give us a call. The library's telephone number is area code 607-936-3713. We have the same phone number we've had for decades, so if you have an old phone book floating around the house, you'll find our number in your phone book too. And you can also connect with the library via social media. The library has pages on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. Library blogs, we have 5 of them. We have the Book Club for Adults blog, which is found at ssclbook.club, and you guessed it, that one focuses on the monthly adult book club. We have the Corning NY History blog, which is our local history blog, which is found at corningnyhistory.com. Creation Stationery, our Makerspace blog, found at creationstationery.com. Story Musings, a blog hosted by the library's resident author and head of adult services Michelle Wells, found at storymusing.blogspot.com. And Tech and Book Talk, a readers, viewers, and listeners advisory, which is found at sscltech.com. And here briefly are our references for this week. And that's the program for this week. I'll be back next week with a new edition of Library Connections. Have a great week.